Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. You know how we usually get leaks during the dev server, and usually they're from the guys who normally leak stuff, which most of the time it is correct. Well, guess what? We have another set, and it's insane. And it's insane for a variety of reasons, so let's go through them all. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, and also like the video. Let's get started. So, you remember April Fools? You know, they did the World War I event, which was actually kind of cool, and they added in a bunch of First World War vehicles, probably the best way that they could have, you know? Obviously, they didn't add all of them. There's still stuff that they left out, like the SPAD, and that's probably going to come along with something to do with Aces of Thunder, that VR game they're working on. Maybe there'll be like a pack you can buy in War Thunder with those vehicles, and then you get access to that game. But there was also something else that happened during April Fools. They showed a trailer. That trailer was infantry in War Thunder. It was something which a lot of people went, whoa, this looks kind of cool. Is this actually coming? Now, it was released on the 1st of April, so obviously it's something that was a little bit kind of touchy for people. And the reason for this is because it's April Fools. They're having a bit of a joke, but if you actually have a look at that trailer, it got a lot of traction, and there was a lot of people who were really enjoying the idea. And even IGN picked up that trailer and ran it on their social media platforms too, which was kind of funny. So what ended up happening is people started going, is this actually going to happen? Are we actually going to have infantry in War Thunder? And in my opinion, you know, the answer has always been no, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Infantry in War Thunder is just an oddity, and also since you have Enlisted out there, and you have other games that Gaijin are working on which focuses around infantry, doesn't really make a lot of sense if that's the case. But according to this leak, it looks like it might be happening. The info on infantry for War Thunder. There isn't a ton of info, mainly just the actual like assets and also some of the mechanics that'll be behind it. And also, this is kind of a leak to confirm that video that they showed on April Fools might not be an April Fool's joke. Remember, in the past, they actually did a modern combat April Fools, which showed very modern vehicles, like some modern Soviet MBTs, plus modern German ones, like the Leopard 2. So who knows? That obviously eventually came to the game, and it looks like this might too. So the stuff that is in the leak, first of all, you have a lot of guns which are there. These I will just kind of read out verbatim for you. Obviously, I'm not a huge gun guy, but I know a lot of people are. So we have the M16A4, AK-M47, AK-74M, M4A1, AK-12, AK-15, AK or AXU 74, ASM Val, the Cord 6P68, M16A1, the SIG XM5, VSSM Vintorez, the M110A1 SDMR, the Mark 14 EBR, Macmillan TAC 50, the PP19 Vityaz, PP19 Bison, PP2000, the Colt 9mm SMG, Mach 11, RPK 16, RPK 74M, M249 Para, Mark 48, SIG XM 250, and the M67 grenade. There's also some attachments, the M320 grenade launcher, the EXP3 or EXPS3, and an Aimpoint Pro Red Dot. So a lot of modern equipment. Now, a lot of people have been speculating the idea of will Enlisted eventually go to the modern day, and that would kind of make more sense, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It looks like that might actually be coming to War Thunder in some way or another. And the other part is, you know, with War Thunder and the way that it works, maybe this makes sense. Eventually, War Thunder can only add X amount of vehicles, right? Because you're going to get to a point where so many people are going to grind it out, and they're going to kind of get bored of playing the same stuff over and over again, and this is an area to expand into. There's also a bunch of maps, so these are a lot less certain at this point, and there isn't a lot of info. There's just a bunch of different like names for maps and maybe things they're testing. So you have Central Africa, which seems to have a slum and an airport. Amadou, which is something about a cinema, hotel, and a gas station. You also have Varan, East Germany, East Valley, Middle East, and also Maginot, and also Stalingrad, Berlin, Tunisia, Moscow, Normandy, which could be testing ports from Enlisted. Because, as we've talked about, Enlisted has a pretty solid game now, like the way that it works and everything like that, but what it doesn't have is as big of a player base and reach as War Thunder. Enlisted still is something which has, you know, a very kind of dedicated player base, but it is nowhere near the size of what War Thunder is. And Enlisted also has only had one major update in, I don't know, half a year, maybe 3/4 of a year, basically since Christmas, and the player base has definitely taken a dip because of that. So maybe they're just funneling more stuff into War Thunder itself. The equipment load would be 1 primary, 1 secondary, 1 melee, 2 specials, and then a grenade as well. And the features of this as well, so backblast, bipods and tactical devices, presumably flashlights and lasers, medkits, kamikaze drones, and also it seems like you research guns with 3 ranks of guns right now, squads of soldiers, and squad size can also vary. So maybe you have either infantry that you can bring into the game and infantry that you can see and along with your vehicles, or what it'll be is a separate game mode inside of War Thunder which will just be infantry centric, which I think would make a lot of sense. Now, when we actually think about the trailer where they showed the infantry, there wasn't really any gameplay, and that is always something of a sign of, is this actually real? But with these leaks, it looks like they're at least testing some stuff. And they have a bunch of games which have FPS in them. You have Crusade Fawad, which is being removed from a bunch of stores right now. You also have Enlisted, of course, and you have a few of the other ones that they're working on, such as that kind of FPS, which is very similar to Tarkov, but more of kind of a new age. Atomic Matter, I think it's called. No, I think that might be another game. They also have, you know, ties to other companies that have done FPS stuff. You know, it was known that one of the lead guys, Gaijin, was somebody who was involved in Atomic Heart, like an investor in it, which is why, you know, you have that kind of like event, which was in War Thunder. So this could easily be something like that, an expansion into a new era. But remember, these types of leaks are more like looking further into the future. So probably not something that we're going to see too quickly, especially since there's a lot of stuff kind of going forward in terms of, you know, War Thunder in other areas, you know, being mainly vehicle focused. But if they decide to add in modern infantry into War Thunder, it would be kind of interesting to see. I just want to pose a simple question to you. Do you think this is legit? And also, would you enjoy infantry in War Thunder? I know it's something that a lot of people have talked about for a long time, something that they've wanted to see. I have never been one of those people. But I would like and love to ask you guys what you think. Would you enjoy something like that? What would you like to see? As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.